Hey everybody, so I've got a filter I want to show you, but I also want to tell you a little bit about the company that I bought it from and the owner, and I've got some interesting backstory that I wanted to share with you. So stick around and I'll tell you all about it. My name is Doug and this is AstroAF. So quick disclosure, I purchased this filter with my own money and I ordered it, and I happened to strike up a conversation with the owner of the company. He gave me a little bit of a discount because I told him I wanted to review it. I purchased it, I paid for shipping, and anyway, I wanted to present it to you. What I have is a H-alpha filter, 7 nanometer, it's a 2-inch mounted filter. And what's interesting, each one of these comes with a label on it and a number which identifies this specific filter. And each one of these filters comes with its own data sheet and is independently inspected with the owners of the company's spectrometer, and a data sheet is provided with every filter that he sells. And that's what really piqued my interest on this. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the owner and his company before I open this up, and then I'll show you the data sheet and the work that I did on it. The name of the company is Sky's the Limit, and the gentleman who owns the company, his name is Alan, and he is UK based. It's a small company, all right, just a small business owner, independent, and he had been getting into astronomy in the early 2000s. He was the principal at a primary school, and he just got into astronomy as a hobby at that time to have something to do outside of work, and you know how it is for all of us, as we go in and get into this type of hobby. As a result of him getting the hobby, and he loved it, his interest really peaked in the equipment, and he had noticed that the Celestron telescope that he had purchased had a made in China sticker on it. And obviously it appears that he had kind of an entrepreneurial bug, and he reached out to find out more information about some of the Chinese companies that were producing astronomy and astrophotography gear, to the manufacturers. And he spent some time developing relationships with some of these manufacturers, and he began creating contacts from his relationships. And at a particular point in time, in 2006, Alan established a relationship with a then unheard of company by the name of Optolong. And Alan began purchasing Optolong filters branded for his company and selling those. Now, along the lines of time that passed, Optolong grew, and their demands on minimum orders and things like that sort of outpaced Alan's ability as a small business to continue retailing them at that level. But he did find another company called StarGuider, and StarGuider was buying Optolong filters that are branded as StarGuiders. And Alan established a relationship with StarGuider and began purchasing from them for his retail, and is still getting the Optolong filters that are rebranded, and which is, I think this is a really common thing. So these manufacturers will create their own under their own brands and then also sell out to other brands and so forth. So anyway, it's good to know that Optolong filters are available through other brands, and in this case, StarGuider. So as time progressed, Optolong, like I said, became bigger. Alan started buying from StarGuider, and then he realized that StarGuider did not provide a data sheet with each one of the filters, and that apparently was one of the agreements that he had originally had with Optolong, that he wanted to have each filter come with its own data sheet for specification. And as Optolong grew, they kind of stopped doing that, and then with StarGuider, they didn't provide it because they didn't get it from Optolong. And this was something that was important to Alan, and so he went out and purchased his own spectrometer so that he could individually test each one of these filters and provide a data sheet with it before he sold it. And his philosophy on this is that he wants to provide a sense of trust with his customers so that they know what they're going to be getting when they purchase something from him. It also gave him something to be more competitive in the market, because the Chinese market is so competitive, and it's hitting the price floor so much that there's really very little margin in, especially for the small business person. And I think we've seen that a lot with a lot of the retailers, even some larger retailers that have been having trouble going out of business. We've had a couple larger telescope manufacturers go out of business recently. We kind of see that going through the market. And and I think we also experience that as consumers in this market. That's one of the reasons that I was really pulled over to Alan's company, because he was offering something that kind of established a sense of trust right off the bat before we even did business together. I thought, that is really cool. There's been lots of videos out there recently on different filter manufacturers and their specifications and the filters not being in spec. And I think that the important part of this is that, when you purchase a filter and you know what the spec is, even if it's in or out, you having an understanding of where that filter specification lies helps you make a buying decision. And so for me, I was looking at 7 nanometer filters for hydrogen alpha. And for me, it's important to know where the filter specification is. Not necessarily that a 7 nanometer filter is exactly 7 nanometers, but to understand what it is that I'm buying exactly. And I've been using OSC with dual narrowband in them at 12 nanometers and up over the last year without any problems. And now that I've moved into mono, getting a filter with a narrower band for H-alpha, pretty much anything is an improvement. And in my skies, and which are Bortle 6, and I have really manageable light pollution, and I do have the ability to get out and get to a Bortle 4, which is about 25 minutes from me, so not too bad. It does really well. Now, if I were in a higher level light pollution area, I would probably want to go with an even narrower band filter. I think that having a filter in the range of 7 nanometers is going to be just about right. And I'm going to be testing it, and we'll see how this actually works out for me and everything. But today I just wanted to introduce you to this filter. So with that said, I do a very quick, we'll pull this thing out of the box and I'll show it to you. And then I wanted to talk about the data sheet, and I did a bunch of work on working with that data so that I could present what I actually have and what I knew ahead of time when I was purchasing it. Oh, I also wanted to let you know that I'm going to leave a link to Alan's eBay store down in the description. And, if you want to check out what he's got, his inventory, it kind of runs through. It depends on what he has in stock at the time. Again, it's small business, so it's just a matter of what he currently has in stock, and what he has available will show up in his eBay store. All right, so as I showed before, this is a H-alpha 7 nanometer. It's a 2-inch mounted filter, and this is an identification number, and probably like a lot number, and this is the item number 15 in the lot that he had purchased and was reselling. And within it comes in your familiar case. It's the plastic case, which is also numbered at number 15 here on this particular filter. As I mentioned, it is mounted and it is branded as StarGuider. It's H-alpha, and it's branded with 7 nanometers, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. This filter is not exactly in spec. It's not horribly out, but this was disclosed to me before I purchased the filter, so I knew exactly what I was getting. And that's a kind of a refreshing thing. And when you purchase from the larger companies, you really, when you read 7 nanometer on the packaging, you're really expecting to get that specification. In this case, this was originally spec'd at 7, but then Alan does his independent testing on it and provided what the actual specs on this were, and that was all disclosed ahead of time. So what I'd like to do is go show you what I was actually provided with this filter, because the filter itself isn't so interesting. I think really what the point of this video is that this is so unique to me, and I just love what Alan is doing and providing as a value add of service that I find is really, really cool and as I think about it, it's really important, and it makes me feel good about the purchase that I made because I went into it knowing exactly what I was getting. So here, let me show you. So I was provided with an Excel spreadsheet, and in it was basically the file name, and it had the item number, which is 15 in this case. It gave me the information about the spectrometer, how many averages he took, the interval time and so forth, and smoothing. So that's all disclosed there. And then again, we've got the wavelength in nanometers as one series of data here in the first column, and then the nanometers of that particular data point that's going to show up in our graph. And so this was just the raw data that I received. I didn't receive anything other than this list of data points from the spectrometer. So what I did is I created an analysis of this, and I plotted all that data as a series of points here on this graph. And if I zoom in on that, then we can see that this H-alpha filter is sitting at a little bit shifted, which honestly isn't necessarily too bad, because if you end up going with a little bit faster telescope, you may have some bandpass shift anyway. So we're actually shifted over in a direction which would be preferable in that case. The specification for H-alpha is 656.28 nanometers. This particular filter peaks out at 84.26% transmission. So that's our top point up here. And that gives us nanometers at that peak point of 653.86. It's on the approximate center of this spectrograph. So based on that peak percentage, the full width half maximum would be 42.13%. And then it was disclosed that this particular filter has a specification of 8.08 nanometers, so it's a little bit over spec. Now again, as I was thinking, this is like a huge improvement to anything I've ever had before, and it was at quite a bit of, not including the discount that I negotiated for doing this presentation here that I'm doing. The filter sells for quite a bit less than the Optolong filter. So you're getting an Optolong filter rebranded as StarGuider that includes the specification for less money. And that was really a lot of different selling points for me. So anyway, I wanted to look at this data and see where it actually came in, and I looked at it in a couple different ways. I ran through an average analysis on here, and what I did on the left-hand side and right-hand side, and the reason that I did this is that because I don't have data points in this data set which actually correlate to exactly FWHM, and I wanted to try to get data points as close to the 42.13 as I could. And so what I did here is I averaged data points on this side until I got starting at the top and working down until I got an average for the left side and the right side that were as close to 42.13 that I could get. And then I added their associated averages of nanometers that correlate to that percentage. So basically we're plotting a line straight across horizontally here. And what I found in the average was that the spread on this for the FWHM is 8.38 nanometers. So it's over spec from a 7, but it is pretty darn close to spec for the 8.08 that was provided to me. Then I wanted to look at it again because I wasn't sure, just because of the differences that I have here in the percentages from what the actual FWHM is. I ran a median on this as well, and the median on left came out to 43.46, and the median on the right came out to 42.65, giving me these results for our bands and with a FWHM on median at 7.997. So based on those two, I think that we're pretty close to being in spec with what was disclosed to me from Alan, and at 8.08 nanometers. And this could just be rounding errors, or it could, a little bit of differences in the way that this is calculated. But I have faith here from what I saw from my own analysis of this, that this is in spec from what he has provided. And so as we can see here at the top, we've got a data point of 84.26. Yeah, 84.26. And that gives us, this is just an arbitrary line that I have drawn through here to give us an idea of that center point of that peak, which you can see this is shifted just a little bit to the right. So if I was running a faster scope, we might see some bandpass shift that would be pushing this over, and that actually might be favorable. So, but anyway, so I'm really happy that I received what I expected. I had started shopping for 7 nanometer, and then, as I mentioned, the different selling points that Alan was offering on a little bit out of spec, which I felt for me was still going to be just fine for my telescope, my system, my skies. And so I'm really happy with this. And he has other filters that, if this works out and my testing goes well once I get it into the scope and I'm happy with the results of that, then I fully intend to talk to him about adding more to the set with oxygen and sulfur. So yeah, so with that said, I am looking forward to getting this filter into my system. And I have a target that I've been capturing data on through all my testing with collimation and everything that with the EdgeHD. And so I want to get this in there, and the target that I've been working on, I want to combine some hydrogen alpha data into the LRGB that I'm working on. I'm hoping to do a video on capturing with this HA filter, and then hopefully a processing video with the target that I've been working on. And with that said, thank you so very much. And again, I'll have links to Alan's eBay store down in the description. His company is Sky's the Limit. This is a StarGuider filter. It's a hydrogen alpha 7 nanometer that actually specs out right around 8 nanometers. It's a 2-inch mounted filter. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today, watching this video. I really appreciate you. If you would like to support this channel, obviously subscribes and likes go a long way. If you'd like to become a member over my Buy Me a Coffee, I'll leave a link for that down in the description. You can support this channel for as little as $1, and you can make a one-time contribution if you don't want to become a member. Also, I have links down below which are affiliate links for Amazon and Agena Astro, and if you're planning on making a purchase anyway, you can use one of those links and I will make a small commission, and it will be at no additional cost to you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Oh, and by the way, I started a Discord server for AstroAF. I've got members automatically get a private membership area over on the Discord. There's a public area as well. I'll have a link to that Discord down in the description. Also, I invite you to join. I am open to suggestions for creating channels in the server, whether it be for public or for the members group. So anyway, that's just another one of the benefits that I just started offering through my Buy Me a Coffee. So anyway, thank you very much. My name is Doug, and this is AstroAF.